Hey guys, Stephen Hurd with Keller Williams Real Estate here in beautiful Orange County, California. Wanted to share with you my seller pre-qual outline. So the 4 or 5 important things that I do when I pre-qual a seller listing appointment. So I wanted to share that outline with you and then also share with you my appointment setting process. So from the moment I set the appointment to the moment I have one of my team members go and meet with the seller, what happens in between that time and that time. So I wanted to give you some of the tactical tools and spreadsheets that I'm using to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you and just show you what I do. Okay, so what I do when I'm calling a seller to pre-qualify the appointment, I'll usually use some kind of verbiage like this. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, one of the main reasons people choose our team is because we prepare so well and we make sure to take care of all of the details so that I can prepare for our meeting and make sure to only cover things that are important to you. Do you have about 10 to 15 minutes to chat now so that I can just learn a little bit more about your goals? If you phrase it properly, most of the time they're going to say, yeah, absolutely, we can talk now, right? Okay, great. So once I get their permission to go through the prequal, that's important. I have to get their permission. I don't want to just jump right into it. I get their permission and then I start to go through questions. The first thing I do is I spend a lot of time talking about their motivation. So I'll ask them, what's your motivation for moving right now? A lot of times people are not used to having deep conversations. So when I ask what the motivation is, they give kind of a surface level answer. For example, a seller that I was talking to today, she said, I'm moving out of the area. And I said, oh, okay, that's great. You're moving out of the area. Where are you planning on moving to? And that's when she went into her motivation. Well, I'm actually moving to La Quinta, California, because I am getting married to my fiance and he owns a home in La Quinta. We spend all of our time there and I've decided to move down there versus having him come up to Orange County. Boom. Now that I know her motivation, there's rapport there, so she knows I care about her, but also it gives me some context as to what she's trying to accomplish. Many times when I know a client's motivation, it helps me accomplish their goal more quickly or keep them focused in the process. Then I go into the timeline. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, what would be the perfect, in the ideal situation, when would you like to be bags unpacked closed escrow, packing your bags and moving into the next property? Almost all the time, the sellers will say, well, I'm flexible. I don't really have a time frame, whenever I get my price, right? So you actually have to ask the question sometimes twice. Awesome. So you're flexible. That's good for you. You're not in a position where you're panicking or worrying. That's great. But if it was the perfect situation, when would you ideally like to be moved out? Now I'm getting their actual motivation. Now I'm getting, when are they looking to accomplish this by? So that's exactly what happened with this seller that I pre-qualified. She said, ideally, I'd like to be moved by the end of June. Okay, so April, May, June. So I know that she's pretty motivated to make a move. This section in here I have under ability. That's where I learn a little bit about, how much they owe on the home and kind of what they think it's worth. Okay, so I ask her, what do you currently owe on your property? And when you ask this question, you have to be confident and you have to use a downswing. You can't use an upswing because it creates doubt for them. So I can't say, how much do you owe on your home? I want to be confident when I ask it. It's just a very casual question. And how much do you currently owe on your property? Oh, she owes about $210,000. Great. What do you feel it's currently worth at this time? Now, not 80% of the time, I would say roughly 80%, they're going to tell you the number that they feel the home is worth. About 20% of the time, they are going to, kind of give you a little bit of kickback. And they'll say something like, well, you're the professional. You tell me what it's worth. Or that's why I'm in having you over, right? And so when they say that, just say, absolutely. I was just kind of curious if you had a goal or a number you were hoping for. And yet when I sit down with you or when one of my team members comes over on Friday, I'll have them go through the numbers of what's selling in the neighborhood so that you know exactly what it's worth. Does that sound fair? Great. Now, this is the secret sauce here in my pre-qualification script. I find out what they need in an agent. So one of the things I ask them is, everybody has their own customer service preferences, how they prefer to do business. I'm curious, in your mind, if you were to hire the perfect real estate agent, what qualities would that person have? So this lady said, well, you know, I've never sold a home before, so I need somebody who really educates me, somebody who listens. I don't want them to just go straight into a sales pitch, and somebody who's familiar with the area, who've sold homes in that community. So now I know what's important to her, so that if I go on the appointment, or specifically one of my team members goes on the appointment, they know exactly what to cover and how to win that sale. They're going to be a little bit more educational about the home selling process. They're going to listen to her really well and have a lot of empathy, ask a lot of questions. And we're going to establish ourselves as the local professionals by doing a lot of research about the community and showing some sales we've done in that community, or just some sales our company has done, or whatever we can do to position ourselves as the local expert. Then I go into the home specs. Tell me a little bit about your property. Have you done any upgrades? They might say, yeah, we've done upgrades or things like that. We've upgraded the kitchen. Awesome. What was it that you did to the kitchen? Here's why I ask that. I want to know everything about their home before going into it, because I want to have an idea in my mind for the pricing of the property. Because when one of our real team agents goes on the listing appointment, I want them to be able to sign the listing paperwork, you know, have a net sheet there, and be able to close the seller at the appointment. So I need to know, you know, exactly what the home looks like, so that my agent knows how to properly price the home, or has an idea of what the home is worth. I don't want them to get there and be shocked and it's, you know, walls have been removed and it's a whole different model. I want us to be educated before going in. And then I'll just say, awesome, you know, is there anything else you'd like to tell me about the property? Is there anything else that's important that I should know about? So I go over all this information with them, find out their motivation, their timeline, and all of that fun stuff. So now, once the appointment is set, I will say, great, Mr. Seller, I'm going to go ahead and send you an email with confirmation of our appointment. It's also going to have some information on our team in case you want to do some research and see what people are saying about us on Yelp and Zillow. So part of my process after I set the appointment, which I'm about to show you, is doing that. So let's look at the process I use once the appointment is set. So as soon as I set the appointment, I will send them I'll set a calendar invite internally for myself and the team. So I'll go to my calendar and I'll say the client wants to meet Saturday at 10 a.m. This is a seller app. The lead source is a FSBO. Here's the client's name, Joe FSBO, and phone number. And then I will put their address in the location box, Primrose Lane. I will add my team members to the invite, and then I will put all of the information that I just took, I put it in the description box, because I want the agent that I send out on that appointment to know everything that I know. I want to communicate to them everything that I know about the seller and their motivation. Okay, because there's nothing that confuses people more or frustrates people more when I send one of our listing agents out and the client has to repeat details to that person. It shows a lack of consistency and professionalism. So I take the time to communicate to the agent. Okay, so once the appointment is set, I put that on the calendar. I'll usually put some reminders so that I remind the agent to prepare and do all that stuff. Awesome. So now that we've set the calendar invite and I've updated the notes, now I'm going to put the notes in my CRM. You see, I spend so much time prospecting and dealing with leads. It's really critical for me to have updated notes so that I'm constantly on top of the details. When you prospect as much as I do, sometimes leads start to have similar stories and the stories start to blend and you could forget. So I always want to be able to reference the last note and the last communication. So I'll go in there and I will check in and see, okay, last time I talked to them, this was the deal, especially when I go to prequal them. So I'll put the notes in my CRM. Don't mind all those tasks. This is a phony note box. And I will put, you know, those notes in my CRM. Okay, so now that I put the notes in my CRM Boomtown, then I will schedule to confirm the appointment. So then I'll go on my calendar and I'll say, okay, we're meeting with this client on Saturday, which means I need to confirm that appointment Saturday morning. Okay, you always want to confirm the appointment the day of, because a lot of times the seller even though you're scheduled and you put stuff on your calendar, it doesn't mean the seller does that. So I like to, confirm the appointment with them. So confirm app with Joe. Not sure what this is. Okay, so we're going to click out of there. Okay, so you're going to confirm the appointment with the seller. Really simple. So I'm going to call him and I'm going to say, hi, is Bob in? Or hi, is Joe in? Hi, Joe. This is Steven with Keller Williams Real Estate. You and I spoke on Thursday, and my lead listing agent, Zen Jayevsky, is going to be coming by today at 2 p.m. Does that time still work for you? Awesome, great. So now I confirm the appointment. Two things happen. I show them that I'm on top of it. Our team is punctual. We're on top of our game. And number two, I make sure that I don't send our agent on an appointment that the seller doesn't show up and they ghost them, right? We don't want that to happen. It's a big waste of time. So I've called I've scheduled to confirm the appointment. Okay, so I put that on my calendar. After I've done that, I send them a listing appointment email. So the listing appointment email looks something like this. Hi, Bob. Hi, Joe. Thanks so much for taking the time to speak with me today. My associate, Zen Jayevsky, looks forward to seeing you Saturday at 2 p.m. Here's some information about our team in case you're curious. And then below that, I put some links to our Zillow profile, our Yelp profile, and a few other credibility PDFs that we've created, like our seller packet and stuff like that. So I want to build a little bit of credibility into us. I'm not, bragging and saying, look at us. I'm just saying, hey, listen, we've got results. We've sold a lot of homes. We know what we're doing, so that they know that they're speaking to a professional when the listing agent comes out. I also put the listing agent's bio in the email. So when my partner Zen Jayevsky goes out on the appointment, they see a brief bio of him, that he graduated from USC, that he sold a lot of homes, that he's just very credible. He has a really good bio. So we send that out to them, and then the last step is, which I already kind of went over, is we call to confirm. And if we need some more details, we prequal a little bit further. Okay, so if there's some details missing in the initial call, that's when I'll call back and prequal and get some additional details. So we're done with that. So that is basically what I do. I have that first call with them. I get all this information. I'm just listening, gathering information, finding out what's important to them. I schedule the appointment. I create the calendar invite. I go through my process. I send them an email, confirm the appointment. My listing agent goes out, and it's done. Okay? Really, really simple process. I know what you guys are thinking. Wow, that's a lot of steps. That's really complicated. And yes, I didn't wake up one day and do all of these steps. I kind of added them in and built the habit by starting small. I first started with, getting really good at taking careful notes and communicating that to my partner Zen. And from there, I kind of built on the system. So don't expect to be perfect in a week. Give it some time and create a process with it. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you have an amazing day. If you're watching this, like this post and comment in the comment section, what's one thing that you do to pre-qual an appointment, or after you've set an appointment that you feel we could all benefit from? What's one tip or hack that you use that you'd like to share with us? Thanks for watching, guys, and have an amazing day.